You want to use AI as an architect, and you heard that it's possible to use it in local with your own computer and with open source software. So this is great, and you are perfectly through that is game changing. But there could be a problem, which is to have a computer which is powerful enough. In my case, I make some tests, and unfortunately, the generation of Confi UI, so one of the more famous open source software to generate images with AI, was too slow. Basically, 1 minute or two to generate a single image is too slow for me. At least it's very discouraging if you want, if you need to wait for the result during this duration. And lately, I discovered another way to generate images that I want to talk to you about in this video today. So this way is to automate the image generation using what is called an API. So basically, what I do is that I list all the image generation tasks that I want, my prompt, my images, and I click on the button to say, okay, I want to generate all this, and it generates. It takes maybe a little time, but it is automatical. I can do other things. I don't have to launch one by one all the operation, and I can combine the image generation as I want. So for that, I'm using an automation platform. I'm using API that generate images, so using the same open source models that you know, Flux or even ChatGPT with API. So if you want to learn this new technique, please keep in this video. I will teach you everything about how I generate images automatically with API. My name is Sebastian. I am an architect and developer, and I'm exploring the possibilities of AI in the field of architecture and construction. So if you want to get better, know the new technique to use AI, discover new tool using AI to save time and allow you to be more creative as an architect, please subscribe to this channel and give a thumb up to this video. So what I show you here, it's an utility that I made. So I give you the link in the description that allow to do some comparison of a base image versus the modified generated image. So here what you can see is that this image was done with ChatGPT latest model, but using the API, not by hand using ChatGPT. And here you can see that the window is not exactly the same size. So it's close, but it's not exactly the same image. So we are going to see how I can do that. So basically, all my image generation tasks are here in a tool which is called Airtable. So I don't know if you know Airtable. If you don't know, I leave you the link in the description. And basically, it's not very different than Excel. At the exception that the data is much more structured. So here, for example, I have a list of selection, but this list of selection is, I can select only the options that I set here. If I want to add another option, like for example, generate building permit image, for example, it will create an option that I can find here. So in the option list, edit field, and here I have all the options. And you see I created it, but it's an option. I cannot put the text that I want. If I want to change this to another thing, I can do it. So this is one of the advantages. The other advantage is to have a relation between tables. So here, for example, I created a kind of collection where I group all my image in collection, and this relation between two tables is possible. Another advantage is that you can save some images. You can save even several images. And here you see it's not saved in a file where the file is going to grow as in Excel, but it's just an URL, and you have a nice viewer. I cannot say it's Yeah, I think it's better than Google Drive viewer. You can even comment the image. You can even click on the image and have a link to share it, and so on. So it's very, very handy. So why I'm using Airtable? It's because I need a way to tell my automation that I want to generate an image. And to do that, I define a field which I call status. And if I change this field to, let's say, run, it will generate an image. So we are going to make an image together if you want. So to do it, I change the view. So one other advantage I didn't talk you about Airtable is that you have several views where you can filter down all the data. If I want only, for example, the record with images, I can filter it. If I don't want to see a given field in a given view, I can filter it. So let's start simple with a prompt. So house, modern house in the countryside, close to a waterfall, in the style of a famous architect of I'm not going to tell. Okay, Kengo Kuma. I always use Kengo Kuma, but okay, this is the prompt. So here you have to run, and after I have another action which is what to run. So here there is a missing field. If I go to the other view, here I status action. It's action which is missing basically. So I go to run and I unhide action. No, it's not missing. Just yeah, it was not at the same place. So I just select run. So I have defined a few actions. ChatGPT generate, it uses a new ChatGPT generation, image generation, but using API. ChatGPT edit, it's the same, but using the edit possibilities. When you connect to the chatbot ChatGPT, you don't know really the difference, but basically, if you share an image and you ask it to modify it, it's an edition. If you just put a prompt, it's a generation. So here, I'm going to put generate. I have also some other model, but I will talk about them a bit later. So I put generate, sorry, and that's it. I just have to do that. And after I go to my automation platform. So my automation platform is n8n. So I don't know if you know what is an automation platform, but basically it links together all the software so that have some API. So it's important to have an API. And there are three main automation platforms. So n8n, Zapier, Make. But lastly, I changed to n8n. Why? Because you can use it for free. This software I hosted myself on a server. So it cost me only the cost of the server. This is very great. And also it's an open source software. So this is also great. And lastly, it's more the philosophy is more for developer, which doesn't mean it is complicated. Generally, developer tools to me are more simple than other. Why? Because it's more straightforward. It doesn't charge to hide the behavior of the platform behind. So it means you can change it, tweak it as you want. But you will understand better in the description. So what happened when I run an automation? So I will run it. Here it's set to run. And here, to run it currently, what I'm using is a manual trigger because it's simple to start. So here you see that the automation is doing some stuff, but at the moment, there is a problem. So we are going to see live what is the problem. Okay, I think there is the API of ChatGPT has protection for copyright. So maybe Kengo Kuma, it is not okay. So let's keep it here. No architect style. We are going to see. So now I test again. I hope it will work. And here I am immediately here. So I think it's running correctly. And after, okay, it will generate the image. Then it will save the image, and then it will save my Airtable, so which is here. So when it is finished, basically I will have an image here in this field, and the field this record will disappear from to run because it will also update the status to another value. So it's not quick because the ChatGPT new model is not very fast, depend of the image. But the advantage of running the automation this way is that you can have 10 or more run, and you don't care because you just can take a coffee, and after you go back and it's done. So if I go back here, I have my image. So of course the prompt was not the best prompt ever, so the image is not so much interesting. By the way, it looks like the old DALI image. I think when the prompt is not very developed, It looks like the old style of DAL-E with, for example, the illustration style we notice here. So basically, the execution succeed. And here I have a compare image, but there is only one image, so I have nothing to compare with. But we will see later what it can do with base image. So base image, basically, it's another workflow. So I go back to my automation here. So what we did currently is that we loaded Airtable. After we set some names, some technical stuff, after there is a switch. And this switch is the equivalent. It's what is reading the value in Airtable. So here you see the value is status to run, okay, but action ChatGPT generates. So if action is ChatGPT generate, then follow this path. So which path is it? It's this one. And here we are calling the API of ChatGPT, and we are using this address to call it, and we are passing it some value. So basically, I want only one image. Okay, I hard-coded the size. I didn't even notice. So my image is squared. Is it squared, by the way? Yes, it is squared. So I just forgot this point that all my generated image are squared because of that. So I can change it, of course. Sorry, I just mixed, and so here we have the generation. Here we are here. So we have some parameter, but of course the more important is the model with the value GPT-image1 and the prompt. But the prompt is not hard-coded. It means that it comes from the Airtable value that we have here. Here our prompt is modern house in the countryside of a waterfall. So to set it, it's as easy as to drag and drop inside the field. And here we have our prompt. And here it's the output. So then when we have generated the images, it is saved in a folder, another folder, and it is Airtable is updated. So I'm using the image is in two places. One place is in Airtable, another place is in Amazon S3. So why I'm using Amazon S3? So Amazon S3 is a kind of Google Drive, but made for developers who want to host their file. But you should consider it, even if you are not a developer, because it's very good for backupping. If you want to backup a heavy file, let's say Revit file or video file, all this kind of file, it's the cheapest backup hosting on the market. It could be a bit technical for the setup, but me for years I didn't use it so much because of that, because it's not designed really user friendly. But thanks to ChatGPT, you can just make a screenshot when you create your bucket. So the idea is to create some bucket for each type of file you want to save. And if you have some problems setting it up, you just share the image to ChatGPT and it gives you the setting to choose. So now I talk about Amazon S3. So Amazon S3, I save it here. Here, it's basically my image is available in Airtable and in Amazon S3. And the advantage of Amazon S3 is that it's available by other sites. So if I want to show this image in other contexts, for example, in the context of my comparator, Amazon S3 it's much more convenient than Airtable. So and by the way, I have a backup of the image. So this is the first generation. Now I have two other things to show you. One, I could show you the edit scenario with ChatGPT, and another one is the fact to ChatGPT is not the only model. Probably you heard about Flux, probably you heard about Stable Diffusion, about other model, but you think that you need to install it locally, and it's not the case. There are some platforms. So the ones that I use is Replicate, which are very, very good, and that allow to basically use some model without having to install them. So it's always the good version of the model. It runs with the latest CPU or setting, so it's quite fast. So for example, if I want to a model, let's say a model that controls with the control net. So I don't know if you know what is a control image, but basically a control image is what allow this image, a photo of a car in a city street. So here you see we have a street which seems very similar to the other street in terms of shape, but you see there are some change. It's not exactly the same sidewalk. Here the tower is not the same. The car is not the same, but the limit of the shape are quite similar. The pose is the same and so on. So it's like the composition, we can say. So this model is awesome. It was used 200,000 times, and I want to test it quickly. So you can test it in Replicate directly. If I want to test an image, I can do it here, and I think it's a good way to test this functionality. So if I take image to 3D, not image to 3D, but let's say I will take an exterior image. Okay, why not that? Glenn Murcutt, maybe Murcutt. Okay. I want to use that as a control image. So it means that when I run the prompt, I can make a very different prompt, but it will try to get this shape out of it. So facade of metallic building with curtains in Japan. So I change. It is in Australia. I put in Japan. So normally, for example, the plans could be different. Maybe the style of architecture. So here we see some technical detail, but also we can evaluate if it is fast or not, because I think it's an important feature. So basically, with this kind of okay, it's very different, and I think it didn't follow so much image because I don't know why. Maybe it's because this is low, or maybe it's two different images. I don't know. But anyway, you could see that it is fast. Now we are going to use it in the context of our automation. So here I use it several times. I will make a comparison between GPT edit and this API-based model, Flux model. So first, I will upload a guide model. So maybe it's because here you see that this could be used as a guide model. But if you take a photo as a guide model, probably there is a pre-handling to modify it as a black and white image, for example. Maybe it's because of that. I don't know. But let's make some try. So here I have a photo of an hotel. Okay. And I want to modify it. I will make two try, and then I put what I want to modify. I want add some person walking, a blurred woman, and some children playing in the pool. So okay, this blurred. This is a prompt. Then I copy it, and then I will batch try it on two different models. So I put run, and then here I use edit, and here I use Flux Pro Cani. So it's the one I showed you previously. So now I go to run, and I can go to my automation and click here. So normally there will be two executions. So one that do this way, and there will be another execution that do the other way. But apparently there is a problem. There's again a moderation problem. Wow, they have a problem with moderation in. Okay, I just launch the second one, and after we can tweak. So okay, I launch the second one that go down, and here basically I have a branch that intercept all Flux Pro Cani model, and then I have a generic branch where I can use any slug of this API. Basically, this API have always the same way to connect to it. So you need to have this. This is always the same. This is always the same. What changes here? And here you find it here in the URL at the top of the screen. So you can only save the URL and have a generic generator for all their model. So here, first our our API run, and this time it worked. So we can compare it. Here okay. Not bad. I think not bad because it followed the window. The window limit is not the same. Here you see that it extends outside. The building is not at all the same. The woman is not a woman, but is blurred. Okay, it's not perfect, but at least it worked and relatively fastly. So now we go back to here, and maybe it's woman that they don't want, or children maybe. Okay, I don't know. I don't know at all. So what I will do is that I put to edit again to run, and I go back to the automation, and I make a test. Okay, it's running. Let's see if it works. So this kind of automation sometimes fail, and you need to be able to debug it. So basically, you do the same I did. So either it's a temporary problem due to API problem, either it's a miss settings that you will identify in some edge case. And then your automation will be okay. Nearly 100% of the time it will work. In some time it could fail, but you could also handle the error. It means, for example, here you can see all the execution. If there are some error, you could access to one specific execution and see what was wrong. So I think it's roughly everything I wanted to say for now. This automation, I'm still working on it. And I will of course add more feature. I think I will add a feature that you can test. For example, here on my site, which name is superarchi.co, I have some tools, so you can find the tool here, tools. And after I have already two tools. One is the IFC viewer, where you can load some IFC model using the latest IFCGS, that open company awesome library. And I don't know if you know, but if you have some question, feel free to ask in comment. And this one is an image generator that you can also use. You can here I have the default image, but here you can place your own image. You need that this image could need to be accessible with the internet. So if I click on this link and I go here, I have one image that I can save. If it is the case, it is you can use my my comparator. And if you are okay with this image, for example, you want to share this to a colleague, you copy the URL and after you paste it to another browser, and here you have the result. So this is very handy. I will try to improve it. You can also compare this way the base and the generated image. Maybe I will add a way to show the prompt. I will add. There are many improvements that I have in mind. If you have some ideas, feel free to share. And I will probably make some also generators. So this is only a viewer, but probably I will create a generators that you can use in specific use case for architecture. Like, for example, inserting your project in the building permit in the site, for example, or this type of case, or maybe evaluate with a given input image, try with 5 different materials in one go. I think automation is very good to do this automation task, the task that you don't want to redo again and again, but just click on a button. For that is very good. So now to conclude, what is the result with ChatGPT 01? So it's good. So I don't need to use woman. If I use woman in the prompt, blur the woman in the prompt, it doesn't accept it. But at the end, he gave me a woman. So okay, we don't need to ask, but he gave it. I think the quality is good. It's of course much more close to the original image by comparison with FluxCanny. So I don't know so much the FluxCanny model so far, so I cannot deduce what was wrong here. But if I compare the two images with ChatGPT, okay, it's not exactly the same. There are some changes, but that are very thin. I think for if you are not very examining the little details, I think you don't notice any problem. So this time ChatGPT was not bad. So that was it. If you want this scenario, I can share you a JSON of the n8n scenario. If you want I help you in setting up this type of scenarios that could be fully customized, this is only one version, but of course you will have other need. I can help you. And see you in the next video, and feel free to give you a thumb up if you like this type of video about automation in the field of AOC and using AI. Bye bye.